Good day to all our viewers globally. Thank you for joining us with this series of Thriving Through Trying Times. We've been on this for a few weeks and we appreciate you joining us. And before I get into today's topic, which will be very exciting for all of us, I want to be able to say thank you to our viewers and for those who have been contributing to these sessions. We appreciate you very, very much. We talked about what do you have in your hands in this moment. We've had several series that has brought us to what we have today, which is keep your mind steady. And before the end of this segment, I will give you some tips on what you should do to keep your mind steady, because our mind, as we've been told severally on this platform, is very powerful. Our mind is the engine that drives our lives. If you want to think of it that way, our mind is everything that we need to point A to point B on a bigger scale. So yesterday we had someone who came and talked to us, Dusi, all the way from Africa. He demystified what the world is coming to be. This is someone who is so globally inclined and very, very savvy in the computer area, who let us know that there's so many great things that will be happening and there will be less of human interactions, and how those are happening and how there's so many disruptions in so many industries. I mean, we gave example of the Uber world and the drone and so many other things. But those are kind of things that we've talked about. So if you've missed a few of our episodes, go ahead and check it out. You will get value from it. So today it's another day. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. We're still quarantined. We don't have any special plans. I mean, today's Good Friday for those who are of faith. Happy Good Friday to you, and just happy Friday to everyone. Disruption is a change that you and I cannot avoid. It's here. We are disrupted with the flow of what we are doing, but that's the way forward. This is going to be the way of life. The change could be sudden or slow. When you are in a disruptive setting, it could be a sudden, like we're experiencing right now, or it could be slow and steady. But one thing for sure is change is inevitable. That's something that we have to all live with and we have to live by. Sometimes change will give us some warnings, we prepare for it, and sometimes it doesn't give us any warning, it just happens. On today's episode, we will discuss the very importance of keeping your mind steady in times like this. In times like this, more than ever before, your mind, think of your mind as an engine, the engine of your car. Some of us drive, some of us maybe we know about cars. Think of that as an engine. Thank you for joining us. It's an engine. So when your mind is an engine, how do you take care of your car? You have to oil it. The brake is there. I mean, there's so many things that you need to make sure is on point for you to be able to have that mindset that will keep us through this trying times. I'll start with a popular saying that says, that William James says, if you can change your mind, you can change your life. Isn't that the truth? The minute our mind is not fixated into something that's negative and we decide we're going to do it, have you ever thought of how the energy just rises? That energy rises from nowhere. You just feel the energy right away, that when you have your mind made up to do something, you make a way. There's a saying, when there's a will, there's a way. Your mind is your greatest weapon. It's your most precious resource. Everyone knows that. Our mind is something that helps us, that propels us to take action. And before we even say anything out, we're already thinking it through in our mind. Our mind is so powerful that we can take a decision, we can change a whole situation without even verbalizing it. In our mind, we already see the beginning to the end, and if we walk at it, we will get there, especially if we have the right people on board with us. Like I said, with a car, you have the car, the engine, everything rises and falls with the performance of the car. If the car is not performing well, you can't do anything, but you have to when you do the change, the wheel changing, the oil change, the brakes, all of the stuff that you need to do to kind of give that car and that energy to keep moving. That's exactly what you should think about when you think of your mind, because that's something that's so powerful that sometimes it needs some refueling, it needs some encouragement, it needs some relaxation, it needs some just hitting hard. Some days it needs some just taking it easy. So your mind technically is something that you can control, is what I'm saying. And I do hope that when we control our minds, we use it for positivity, because the same mind can be used for negativity, but the mindset that we're talking about is the one that will make impact and help you and help other people to do whatever they need to do to be the best that they want to be. Your capacity to handle stress and the workload and the stress of life has to do with the function of your mind. And I'm sure those of you who are watching and who will watch later, you would agree with me that the way and the ability of your mind to handle a situation that you're thinking helps you to articulate it either verbally or in writing. So that's the power of a mind. And to handle the coming disruption that you and I are in for, we know COVID-19 is here. It's not a thing of joy, but it's here. It's here, and that's all we have to do. You need to keep your mind steady. Your mind and my mind needs to be steady. That's the only way that what we see in the physical would not make us fret. Because if we live in fear, we're not going to be able to survive. But if our mind is made up and we let our mind respond to things that it needs to respond to and limits our mind from seeing things that we don't need to see. For instance, some people have stopped watching TV all the time. Same news, not always positive. I know some of it are factual, but hey, why do you want to feed when you know you're turning the TV on and all you're going to hear is bad news that will relapse you? Then why do it? Somebody said the other day that we are like, a daily war. A real war comes and it's over, and then you begin to leave again. But every day you turn the TV or you hear something, there's a news that makes your heart sink. How do you do what I'm saying to do? If you've watched some of our episodes, in this moment, what's in your hands, disruptive innovation, and all of the series that we've had through the Remy Speaks platform and Instagram, by now you will have some tips, some answers, and some ways that you can handle what is going on right now. The most important thing is you feed your mind with the right things. You say, Remy, what are the right things? You know what the right things are. You know the things that you hear that gives you joy. And you know the things that you hear that makes you cringe and shrink. If that's what you're hearing, then you need to stay away from that, because your mind will react and respond to what you see and what you hear. So because you know that the mind is not an island that just stays there, you still trigger the mind by the environment, by the activities, by the actions that you are going through. That's what the mind feeds off of. So your mind has gates. And there are two gates, the mind gates. The two mind gates are your eyes and, of course, your ears. Like we said, if you don't see it, you can't conceive it. And right there, you don't have to worry about it. But once you see it, once you turn that TV on or you come near a negative person, somebody who is feeling so down and thinks that the world is coming to an end, and they begin to talk and give you scenarios of what they are seeing, and you're thinking, I'm not seeing what you're seeing. What are you seeing? You need to move away from such people. You don't let your eyes see things that will depress you, because right now you can only be obedient. Stay home, wash your hands, social distancing. We're all working from home. You can't just go out and do what you want to do. So that's reality. So by now, everybody should be used to that. We've been doing this for a month, thereabout. So we should all be used to it. How do we now move forward to ensure that our eyes see good news, our ears hear good news? We have control over our hands. If we do not want to turn that TV on, we won't hear anything in our homes. Let's create our own fun time. Let's create our own television time. What do you read? Because what you read is going to feed your mind. It's going to feed your activities. What are you reading? Or what are you not reading? You cannot let your mind go to waste. You've got to be engaged. When you're looking at the news, some of us look at the news, we hear what's happening globally. Try to go for things that are positive. I'm sure as we're looking at the negative things, there are people who are saying, how can we rebuild this economy? How can we make sure that once we get the cure for coronavirus, then we can all have our lives again and we can now know that we're full again. There are people who are pulling their hair out and using their mind to build, to see how can we rebound from this setback to a comeback. Because what we want right now is a comeback. So what do you listen to and who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? All of this is done so beautifully by a creator that you are the singular person that has control over that. You're the one that has control over who you want to listen to. You could be looking at someone and not hear what they're saying. And that's how your mind does. Your mind can shut down if you wanted to. There's some situations and some people and some environment that when there are conversations, you already make up your mind before you get there. So you shut your mind down and your mind you don't even connect with what you're doing. Even though you're there in the physical, that's the power of our mind. But you have to nurture your mind well enough to be able to let it feed off of positive things. You have to nurture yourself and your mind enough that you're feeding it good information, you're around good people, you're around good things, and that you're moving with things that are making impact. You're moving with activities that are progressive, not regressive. So when your mind is used to your activities, which is you controlling it, but your mind will be conditioned to you doing the right things and always having that positive energy. Sometimes people wonder, why do you always have this energy? Are you not part of this world? We're all part of this world. How you choose to respond to this world right now is up to you and I. Nobody can make you see the world differently than you see it until you begin to receive it and know that your mind is the gateway to everything that you do. And if you're not already doing it, being around positive people, reading books, going online and listening to motivational and inspirational talks, leadership talks, getting news that would encourage and fill you up, or maybe that would even give you an idea of a bigger future, because there is a bigger future ahead of all of us. We are all at a flat surface right now, but we're all coming back, but the whole world is shut down right now. Everyone, every nation needs a rebuilding. Every nation needs a rebirth. So we are all there. Why can't you be part of the solution? Why can't you build a team of people that they can come to and say, you know what, you help these people get over the mental problem, mental health issues. Because at the end of this health situation, there will be other mental health related situations. So long story short, you want to be around an environment that is nurturing, that's positive, that you create. Because sometimes people think somebody has to create an environment for you. No, you can create an environment that even no matter how doom and gloom people are, you are you're going with your routine. Because your routine is ordained and it's an assignment. So you don't even see the distractions and the distractors. So you can't say, oh, my environment, like Ducey told us yesterday, you can't hide under your environment and say, oh, there's not this, there's not that. We can all have laundry lists of what we don't have. But guess what? We have life, and we have life abundantly. All of us are alive, and by God's grace, we won't partake in the coronavirus. What you see from your inner man might not be what somebody else sees. Sometimes people go to a restaurant, and they like the restaurant. They're thinking, oh, I like the food, I want to come back and eat. When I go to a restaurant or I go somewhere, I'm thinking, how can I replicate this in Africa? How can I replicate what I'm seeing? It's not just what I'm going to consume. Of course, I love the food. Of course, I want to come back. But I'm thinking beyond that. And there are people like that. But if you bring it up, if you're not in a comfort zone where you can bring such things, people will think you're crazy, that what you're saying doesn't jive But in your inner man, it dies because your mind works very fast. Your mind is thinking global. Your mind is thinking possibilities. Whereas they're thinking about, oh, I'm just here to have my dinner, the 5-course meal, and enjoy and go. But you're already thinking, ooh, this is beautiful. How can we put this in Lagos, in Ghana, somewhere? You're thinking, how can you replicate this so that what you're enjoying here can be all over? And you can argue that, does that have to be right there when you are in the restaurant? That's how people's minds wander. Everybody's mind is different. And some people, their mind could be wandering and thinking other things that are not positive, but it's all in your mind. So you want to make sure that your mind is nurtured well. And point number 2, you want to strengthen your mind. Because if we do not strengthen our mind, there's nothing we can do. We have to strengthen our mind, and it's a daily exercise. And I know you're like, Remy, do I need to exercise? Yes, you can exercise. That's healthy. But beyond your exercising, you want to be able to read and apply what you read. If you do not apply what you read when your mind is at work, then you're not doing anything. Reading and you're not able to apply what you see. Thanks for joining, Mrs. Ogumoyero. Wow, good to see you. So there is really a lot of things that your mind can see that other people won't see. But when your mind conceives it, you will achieve it. Because now you're beginning everywhere you go. Like I said, if I'm at a restaurant and I'm done enjoying the meal, I'm thinking, how can we replicate this in Lagos somewhere, and so on and so forth. And people are still enjoying their being there. And I'm already thinking, who is the franchise owner? How can we replicate it? That's a mindset that I have. I've developed that because of the environment of what I've been used to in my own life and work. So that's the way I think. And some people can say, do you ever stop thinking? No, nobody ever stops thinking. You can choose what you think about. Some people think, and all they think about maybe negative things and looking for people to pull down and so forth. There's always a thought in our mind. If you now choose to make yours a positive thought, then that's kudos to you. And that's what it should be. When you listen and you act accordingly, that is how you strengthen your mind. And I'm not trying to preach to anyone. When you are a person of faith, there's an evidence of something you have not seen, but you've already keyed in that it's possible. But like we always say, you can't always pray your way through it. You got to do some work. You can't say, I'm looking for a job. I don't have a resume, or I have a sloppy resume that's not even fit for anybody, and I expect a job. Hello there. Maybe nobody will see how good I am to give me a job. But that's not because I'm not a candidate for it, but I haven't put the work in. So we have to always remember to listen and to act. And when you act, action doesn't mean it's only you. You can ask for help. I tell people the best leaders are those leaders who ask for help. Because sign of good leadership is when you can raise your hand and say help, rather than faking it till you're making it and you're messing everybody's lives up. You just need to be able to stop and ask for help. And it's not a sign of weakness. To me, it's a sign of strength. Because there's an area of strength that you have. Right now, I probably would never be one of those that would be a solution provider for coronavirus. I have never been medically inclined. I chicken out when I see anything medical. I'm nervous. Just to give me a little needle, I'm scared. So me as Remy Duyile will probably never be someone that would have the cure for coronavirus. I can pray and help those people and think that the Lord should show them how to get the answers. But there are things I can do. The economy also is tanked with it. We have a flat economy right now, but it has to rebound. Government of nations are putting money back in the system. And these monies are for human beings like you and I. But we are business owners, we're individuals. Are we able to plug in and know how to access such opportunities? Or we're just sitting at home and still counting the ceiling and seeing how long the day go by so fast for me that I don't even know. I'm like, wow, this is busier than when we were going out. You need to engage yourself in a way that you are forward thinking. Opportunities are already thrown out there now to help small businesses, to help those who maybe have lost their jobs. There are so many jobs online. For those who maybe are technically inclined, even if you're not, go get a new skill. Go and get a new skill that will help you, so that when all those people are hiring online for jobs you can do remotely, right there, you can do remote jobs. And that's really where we're going. The disruption in the world right now is for the good of you and I, even though we don't see it yet. But I just hope that we can start seeing it. And the only way we can show we see it is just getting that action. You're strengthening your mind. I already said that we have to strengthen our mind and ensure that we see beyond what we are looking at. Then, of course, you can say, Remy, all of this, rest. Yes, you have to rest your mind. Just like your phone. I use your phone because everybody has a phone. And I know I wear mine out. And some days I'll be using it and I won't hear the person, oh, it's dead. Okay. So I have to charge it. If I continue to hold the phone, that phone has already disconnected. So I know the right thing to do is to plug it and charge it. Who does that for our minds? When we are able to rest, and I'm talking about rest, not rest when you're half doing something else and you're half awake. When it's time to rest, just rest. And when you're able to rest, you get more energized. By the time you get your full rest, there's a reason why God has day and night. At night, when you're able to get a few hours of good lengthy sleep in, when you wake up in the morning, you are refreshed, you're energized, and then your health is up and going. You're just so ready to take on the world. And I want to give a little statistics. They said the rising health dysfunction in the world today is largely attributed to lack of rest. And I'm sure you all can agree with me. When we're tired, we're cranky. Even though we quickly point the children out, when they're tired, they're cranky. We adults are worse. The young people, you can tell, are you tired? Yes, I want to take a nap. But we will be in denial. And we won't be able to do anything. But let me tell you a trick. Do you want to learn faster? If you do want to learn faster, these are also statistics. 30% reading will help you. 30% of practice of what you read will help you. And 40% of rest. How about that? So out of the 3 portions, rest is 40%. And rest is not just about sleeping. When you close your eyes, some people sleep, they're not really resting. Rest is when you are able to truly release yourself and you free yourself from everything. You don't have to be physically sleeping. When you keep your mind set in a way that you're not worrying about what you can't control, you're just letting things be. That's a good rest. And it works all the time. It works all the time. You will be able to wake up and then get refreshed. There is immense power in the natural processing, power of the mind. Ha, ha, ha. There is so much power in our mind that before you even verbalize something, you already see the actuality of what you're verbalizing. So immediately when you see it, it's not like a surprise to you. Sometimes people say, oh, this race is smart, these people are smart. When you have invested, oh, you're smart, you're doing this. If you have invested in yourself and you've invested in a process, what you expect is results. Hello, people? Yes. That's what you expect. So when that comes, you don't get too overly surprised. You don't get cocky about it, but you're thankful because that is your ability to balance your reading mode, your action mode, and your rest mode. And it combines and it gives you that ability to have that nice balance. And the law of gravity never fails. The law of gravity, the eureka moment. I'm sure some of us have heard of the eureka moment. This is where we all, as a result of natural brain process power, when you gather knowledge, practice, and get enough rest, the brain has the capacity to correctly process difficult problems by itself. Have you ever gone to bed with a burden in your heart and you truly are able to hit the pillow and sleep sound? Sweet and sound. When you wake up in the morning, if you truly slept soundly, you will have some energy and some ideas of how you need to pick up what you laid down yesterday. But when you pick it up, it's not going to be at a scary mode. It's not going to be in a mode of, I don't know what to do. It's more like, I'm expectant. You're coming there with a full force. Like you're re-energized, you're refueled. So that's what the power of rest does with our mind. Do you want to get the best of your brain power? Yes? My apologies, my phone was ringing, sorry. If you want to get the best of your brain power, what we need is rest. And rest does not cost anything. And we were told yesterday there are no excuses for anything that you want to do. There's possibility around you. There are opportunities around you more than ever. So just find it. It's likely a battery. Like I said, if my battery is dead and someone is talking to me on the phone, I know to literally put the phone down and charge my battery. And when I get a little juice, I call the person back and I say, oh, sorry, my phone just, I'm out of battery. And most of the time they know. They will say, oh, your phone, you're out of juice. Yes, they get it. So that's the same way. When you have gone helter-skelter and you don't give yourself rest, you don't have any plans, you don't surround yourself by positive people, and you are just going helter-skelter with no rhythm or systems in your life, then it becomes stressful. But when you have a right mindset, you will be able to handle the stress. There's a way someone with a great mindset can handle stress. Stress is part of life, you all. Everybody has an ounce of stress. How you handle it is going to be different from one person, from one season to the other. But most of the time, if you hand it to your creator and you do the work, W-O-R-K, you will start seeing that all of the pieces of the puzzles will be coming together. And there's also the spirituality part. Thank God for spirituality. Whatever your faith is, the peace that comes from God is priceless. I can stop that right there because I know I'm almost out of time. I need to hop on Instagram for the show, for the 5:30 show. The peace that we get from above is the ultimate peace. Because if man gives you peace, man will take it. All it will take is, or they can change their mind and just get you out of your peace mode. So when you are building your life and your everything and your peace, make sure you're anchoring everything on God. Because if man makes you, man will break you. But the peace of God is what makes you, in the face of all this adversity, in the face of all this coronavirus and all the regulations and all the things